Wow, 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 dude. What a series at Minute Maid Park this weekend against the Baltimore Orioles. One of the best teams in baseball. After the Astros had gotten out hit in the first game of this series that they ended up winning, the Astros would end up dominating the Orioles for the rest of this weekend, holding them to just 2 runs in 2 games by two of their best starters. We've got a lot to talk about in this video, guys, so sit back and it's all coming up next. How sweet it is. Man, has it been a while since I've been able to say that in one of these videos. These past couple of series against the Angels and the Cardinals earlier this month, we have had a sweep within our grasp, but just couldn't do it. But this time we were able to finish the job. So let's go ahead and break down this awesome series. But before we do that, real quick, let's dive into a quick injury update on Kyle Tucker. Unfortunately, he was not able to do baseball activities this weekend. He did run on a treadmill this weekend, but he has yet to do any baseball activities on the field since his injury. So overall, I think he is still trending in the right direction. But but for the most part, I still think he's still a good ways away from coming back. And obviously, at this point, like I did say in a previous video, it's that Joe Espada did say that it's looking likely that Kyle Tucker is going to need a rehab assignment. But at this point, even if he was ready to come back, I think I would still send him out on a rehab assignment. So, well, hopefully he can get out. Hopefully he can get out on one of those pretty soon. So, but for the most part, that's really all the injury updates that I do have to share with you guys. Justin Verlander is doing pretty decent. But overall, but we haven't had much injury updates, but we haven't seen much news on him over this weekend. So diving straight into the series itself, the first game was a slugfest. And it certainly is a slugfest if you look at the final score. But if you expand the box score just a little bit and take a better look at it, you'll soon realize that just after 6 innings, this was a blowout. It was one-sided after 6 innings because the Astros had scored 9 times in that 6th inning. During which they hit 5 doubles in that inning, Joey Lopefito being responsible for 2 of them, and he becomes the first Astro to hit 2 doubles in 1 inning since, take a guess, Yordan Alvarez in 2019. So that was interesting. But those 9 runs the Astros scored in that inning would loom pretty huge because Baltimore, an inning and a half later, would tag the Astros bullpen for 7 runs, 5 given up by Nick Hernandez, who did pitch in the 7th inning, in which he had given up a solo home run to Gunnar Henderson. And at that point, it was only a 13-4 ball game in favor of the Astros. So, I just kind of thought, dude, hitting solo home runs at that point is kind of trivial because, there's no way that's going to get them back in this game. But obviously, an inning later, they were able to chain a couple of those, 3 to be exact, where Nick Hernandez gave up a couple of more that gave up 2 of those 3-run home runs that the Baltimore Orioles would hit in that inning. Montero gave up another one, and at that point, it ended up turning into a save situation for whoever was going to come out in the 9th inning. Because although Joe Espada did not want to use any of our high leverage guys in this game because they had pitched 2 straight days in Chicago, but Joe Espada appeared to have not wanted to take any chances in this 9th inning, and so he sent out Brian Abreu, who was one of those 3 guys to have pitched 2 straight games in Chicago. But thankfully, Brian Abreu would end up nailing down the save. And then throughout this weekend series, it seemed that Ryan Presley and Josh Hader had pitched at least once in this series. Well, we'll break that down in a bit, but overall, this should have been a rather easy win for the Astros to get. It ended up becoming a lot closer than we certainly would have liked, but a win is a win, and I'm happy about that. So 14-11, Astros was the final score in this game, and what should have been 14-7 at least. Anyway, going into Game 2, the Astros were able to win this game again rather handily, and they were able to mostly keep the bullpen in check by winning this game by a final score of 5-1. Chas McCormick would end up tallying 3 hits in this game, including 2 home runs, which would give him the 5th multi-home run game of his career. One of those home runs he actually hit all the way onto the train tracks to give the Astros a 4-1 lead. Both of his home runs had come with the Astros up 3-1, so with the Astros winning 5-1. The 3rd home run the Astros would hit in this game came courtesy of Yordan Alvarez, with the game tied at 1. Mauricio Dubon had hit a sac fly to tie the game at 1 after the Orioles had hit a home run off of Blanco an inning before, who had started this game. And Vernel Blanco, was continuing to solidify his all-star case with 7 solid innings in this game. And then Yordan again would hit a home run to give the Astros a 3-1 lead. Then Chas McCormick tallied on 2 more home runs of his own. And then the bullpen carried it from there. as Ryan Presley would pitch the 8th inning shutout, and then Josh Hader would get I think now his 12th save of the season, another shutout inning. But this of course meant that these two pitchers would end up having to pitch 3 out of the last 4 days, which made them unavailable for Sunday's game. So, obviously, it's not really a good thing. So the Astros, in light of that, ended up selecting their contracts of Brian King and Luis Contreras to pitch in Sunday's game. And it's a good thing that they ended up coming in with as big of a lead as they did, because, otherwise, if they were coming in with this much pressure, they certainly would not have pitched a shutout inning like they did in this game. But yeah, 5-1 Astros was the final score in Game 2 of this series. Then going straight here into Game 3, Pena and Diaz going into Game 3. The Astros ended up getting to Albert Suarez early in this game, sending 9 men to the plate and scoring 4 runs. That was all kick-started by a leadoff home run by Jose Altuve on the first pitch, which was the 38th of his career. So that was nice, and that was part of a 4-run first inning for the Astros. In that mix, Bregman ended up also hitting a double, which was one of 2 doubles and one of 4 hits that he would hit in this game, giving him 12 hits in his past 6. Pena and Diaz each had 3 hits apiece and also 3 RBIs apiece. Two of Yanier's RBIs, I believe, came on sac flies. Framber Valdez ended up going 7 innings, held the Baltimore to just 1 run, and again, that came on a home run. That did extend Baltimore's home run streak, which is a franchise record, I think, now to 30 straight games. But another streak that you don't really see get snapped as much these days is how often they get swept. The Baltimore Orioles actually already had been swept earlier this season, I believe, to St. Louis. But at the same time, that was only the first time that Baltimore has been swept since Adley Rutschman became a major leaguer. That's crazy. Because Baltimore's offense is one of the best there is. They've got Adley Rutschman. They've got Gunnar Henderson. They've got Anthony Santander. And that's like to name a couple other ones that I can't really even think of. It's crazy. They could end up becoming MLB's next dynasty as soon as the Astros ends. But overall, this was Astros baseball. It was Astros baseball at its finest. This is exactly what we fans are expecting from this team. Obviously, with how much we've been playing recently, I certainly was not expecting a sweep of this weekend series, let alone us being able to win 1 game. I honestly thought we were going to get swept and that all 3 games were really not going to be close. And, well, I ended up being correct. In one of the aspects, at least. So, but yeah, again, after the Astros had gotten out hit in a 14-11 slugfest on Friday night, despite giving up 18 hits in that game, they had only held Baltimore's juggernaut of an offense to just 2 total runs on Saturday and Sunday, both of which just came on home runs. Because, obviously hitting home runs is nice, but you need to find out another way to score runs if you're going to be a juggernaut offense. But yeah, overall, guys, very, very awesome series. This was by far the best series of the season for the Astros, pulling off a 3-game sweep against one of the titans in baseball. Just absolutely mind-boggling. The Astros going in to Tuesdays and Wednesdays miniseries against the Colorado Rockies at home are just 2 games under 500, and they are just 6 games back of the Seattle Mariners in the AL West standings. They've gained 4 games on them in just a span of 5 days, with Seattle losing a couple of games in Cleveland and also losing some games in Miami. But obviously, I think we can just use this series as a bit of a trampoline and build some momentum, especially as we prepare to host the Rockies. And then after that, it's I believe a 10-game 3-city road trip spanning across Queens, Minnesota, and also Toronto. Not in that order, I just mixed that up. But overall, dude, let's just keep this up. Let's get to 500 before we go out onto Queens. Hopefully before this month ends, that would be great. But getting to 500 by the All-Star break seems like it's a very realistic thing at this point in time. So, hopefully we can end up getting to that point. Obviously, this was a good series, but we need to be playing the Rockies very much the same way. Because, we can't be playing down to the level of competition and expect to win every time, because that's just not going to happen. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. If you want to watch any of my other videos, then click these ones here that are above my shoulders. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one.